So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. And be honest with you, it's a team sheet tantrum like no other because we have an actual, I suppose, small bit of a tantrum to pull because it's not anywhere near the team that we said it would be, because Unai Emery has done his European trick and has thrown a spanner in the works. Well, not a spanner in the works, but throwing a curveball, and that's Lamar Bogart is playing at centre half tonight. Not that it's a massive curveball or anything like that, but it's just not anything that we said might happen. And that's okay too, because obviously Unai Emery is the master at this, and we're only plebs here in Ireland, chancing our arm. But as we can see here, the team is Martinez in goals, Lindelof at right back, Bogart centre half, Pau and Matson round out the back four. Tielemans and Onana in there. Good to see Onana back. Gassan, Rogers, and Sancho, with Malin playing the number 9 position. Bizot, Oakley, so 2 goalkeepers in the bench. Cash, Konza, Barkley, McGinn, Garcia, Kamara, Digne, Elliott, the lesser seen Elliott, Buendia, and Watkins round out the bench as well. So he has got into his bag of tricks, Unai Emery. He has decided that he wants to rotate the team, and he has brought some names into the bench, namely Andres Garcia and Harvey Elliott are on the bench as well. So, look, I must say this is a strong team, and it's a team I think that they can go out and obviously win this game at home. Really, really interested to see if we actually set up with Lindelof at right back and Bogart at centre half. You would have thought that the conventional wisdom would be to play Lindelof at centre half and Bogart at right back, but you know, it could be done in such a way that Ian Matson will ramp forward. It becomes a back three at that stage. Gassan goes right. Sancho kind of tucks in beside Rogers, and you've Matson playing in that more elevated left kind of wing back position there as well. Who knows? Either way, Aston Villa should have enough in this game today. There is no excuses based on that team. That's a very strong team, and it's a team that should be capable of going out and getting a result at home. Whether they do or not is another thing. I suppose when we look at that front four that Aston Villa have, there are question marks, I suppose, in 3 of those players, and potentially if people still feel that Rodgers needs to continually improve, then there's question marks over all 4 players there. Obviously, we've got Evan Gassan there, has been a functional player, but not the player we thought we were getting, I think, is fair to say. So when we signed him from Nice, you've got Jadon Sancho on the left-hand side, shown very few fits and starts, I suppose, since he's been with Aston Villa, but somebody who, you know, relishes a European night and has that directness about him that I hope we will get to see tonight. And then you've got Daniel Malin. You know, a lot of people ask, can he play in that front, in a front three? Is he able to play? Or sorry, can he play in that lone? He can play in a front three, no problem. Can he play in that lone nine as opposed to playing in the 3 behind the front man? And you know, he's got a pretty decent scoring record for Aston Villa when he's been played up there when he started. So you know, let's see him get in the goals today as well. So I think, yeah, absolutely he's worth his place there. And Dan Bardell mentioned as well, and we had heard something similar as well about Ollie Watkins having an injury that needs to be managed. So playing him here in this game is not something that I suppose I'm not surprised about, but he is on the bench should he be needed here. And I think the bench will be needed in this game. I think there will be minutes for McGinn, Kamara, Buendia, Barkley, because even though Unai Emery doesn't start with his full team, even in Europe, he likes to bring those guys on for 10, 15 minutes or 20 minutes at the end to see out games or to change the pace of games. But, you know, he does tend to bring on players. He does tend to bring on experienced players and roll players off as well as he needs to. So I would expect him to use his 4 or 5 subs today, no problem. And and be professional about this with regards to young boys today, because a win today, like, it's mad. They have 6 points, we've 9 points. We're in 6th place, I think. They're in 22nd. So the league isn't exactly, it's like a loss today and you find yourself, smack bang mid-table. The league, there's nobody running away with the league in this Europa League, and with Villa's loss to Go Ahead Eagles, we can't afford to drop more points here again to young boys. So a win tonight makes things an awful lot easier as we go into the next few fixtures against Basel, Fenerbahce, and then obviously on to Salzburg as well. So puts us on 12 points. Be highly unlikely that we wouldn't get through on that. But obviously the push towards the top 2 is what's needed to secure that home place, as we're always talking about that as well. So yeah, a couple of questions in the team. I suppose, as I say, with that 3 behind the striker, will it be Bogard centre half or will it be Bogard at right back position? Tielemans and Onana should be rock solid inside there as well. And, I don't want any passes to strikers, please, Emi Martinez. And please punch the ball if it's ricocheting around, or if the ball loops up in the area. Please punch the ball out and don't try and go and catch it if you can at all, please. Just a nice, solid, uneventful performance tonight would be absolutely brilliant for Aston Villa. Akin to what we had in the Champions League last year when we played them and had that good early start. But for those of you that that didn't watch the preview that we had last night, this team are now managed by a darling of theirs, somebody who got a real tune out of this team between, I think it was 2018, 2021, 22. He won, I think he won 66, over 66% of his games with young boys at that stage, and they had a plus 157 goal difference. He's come back into the club after spells with Leverkusen and Mönchengladbach. He's a damn good manager. He's a respected manager, and they've gone back to him to get a tune out of this team who've kind of underperformed since he's left. Well, I won't say they've underperformed since he left because they got Champions League football, but you know what I mean. They have. They've since they got Champions League football, they've kind of flattered to deceive. Europa League football for them this year after being in Champions League last year, much like ourselves. But obviously the power of the Swiss league wouldn't be anywhere near the Premier League, and with the influx of money that they would have had in the Champions League last year, how they choose to spend that, whether it be transfer wise or not, is obviously their prerogative. But it would be a huge injection of cash into a club like Young Boys of BERN, and they haven't really gone and strengthened massively in the well, they have, but you're not talking about any massive household names, and that's the way it has to be in Swiss football, and that's absolutely fine. That's not being elitist or anything, because they do have some good players in that team, and like Fastnacht, the striker, the Swiss striker, he's a handy player. And there's a midfielder as well, Lauper. I think he either be playing in midfield, and I think sometimes I've seen him play centre half, unless my eyes have deceived me. He's a decent player as well there. So these guys will be up for it. They're going to come. They're going to park the bus. I think early goals are going to be pivotal in this one for Aston Villa, just like they were in the Champions League game last year as well. Where are we? So I'm going to come to some of your comments here as well, guys. Justin France says Harvey is in the house. Oh, you have little faith. You know what? Dan Bardell made a great point as well today on one of his podcasts where he said that the games don't count. The European games don't count towards Harvey Barnes' loan deal. Apparently, I don't know how true that is, but apparently that's the case. So I did not know that. And if that is not the case, well then, he will probably most likely come in and supplement that bench during European games, and that's nice to be able to have if it doesn't count towards European games. Dennis says, come on, Villa boys, teach them young boys a lesson. Andy Hilly says, fair few changes, sat at Villa Park waiting for the team warm up to begin. Good to see her there, nice and early, Andy. Stato says, up the Villa, big win tonight, and we will throw you directly into Stato's link after this as well. Just make sure that's all been set up here. So if you want to do watch along with Dale or AVFC Stato, as his pen name is want to be, you guys will be able to do that. All you got to do is stick here with us, and we'll throw you into his live stream directly after this. Boom, boom, boom. Just making sure that all that is set up correctly. Yeah, it is. Rest assured, everybody. Rest assured. I don't know why this podcast seems to be going out twice, but I don't know. Something says it's going out in portrait, but I have no idea how the hell that's happening. Anyway, back to this as well. More comments. Let's see here. Brendan Townsend says, strong squad. Elliot in the bench too. Absolutely. And Jake Aston Villa says, Bogart in the Conza role. Excited to see what he's learned. Me too. That one for me is the big question here. See how he performs there, because they are apparent to, if we can have him in there in that position and play similar to an Ezri Konsa, well, that's a massive boon for Aston Villa as they go forward. And as you're planning your defense and your transfer windows with regards to your defense going forward, I think that is well. Pete Bully asks, everyone else can't see the camera, is it just me? Can you guys see my camera? Can you guys see me? You guys see me? I don't know. I know there's something showing up with regards to being landscape or portrait, but I've absolutely no idea what the hell is going on there. So I do apologize if you guys can't see me in that orientation. I have no idea. No idea. We'll continue. We'll battle on anyway, as long as you can hear me. That's the main thing. Where else are we? Boom, 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 boom. Paul Wolfenden says, hope it's McCoist on commentary and not that long blue nose. Jake Aston Villa says, with how defensive Gassan can be with his work rate and the right tracking back, I expect Maatsen to play very high tonight. Me too. Absolutely. I expect Maatsen to be a massive outlet there. I expect Sancho and Rodgers to kind of play a bit more inverted and in behind Daniel Mann, and we'll see what it looks like tonight. We could be all wrong on it as well. So it's but it is interesting to see these wrinkles that he's beginning to throw in and test in this. David Adams says Bogart. David Dam, sorry, he says Bogart seems solid regardless of where he plays. Such great young talent to have at our disposal. Absolutely, it's great to have versatile players, and it's great that we're training versatile players. I think you even look at Bradley Burrows. Bradley Burrows played as wing back and as a right back in the under-19 game against Azad Alkmaar, where they drew 2-2 yesterday. And Bradley Burrows plays as a right winger normally. So cross-training players, I think, is going to be very beneficial for clubs like Aston Villa, because that means that, if you've got players capable of playing in three positions, well, then that means that your squad can be smaller, which means that you can invest in better players into a smaller squad and so on and so forth. And yes, I know one injury to one player takes out three positions, but, you wouldn't have everybody cross-trained. That's what I'm talking about. And that's something that I'm really, really interested in regards to squad building at the moment, and to see how Aston Villa can cross-train players if they want to continue to do that, and see what happens specifically. But the sample set with our young players is very small currently under Unai Emery. It's Lamar Bogart, and that's it, really, currently at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with a lot of those other players too, as well. Where else are we? Where are we? Curry asks, Neil, do you see any rationale in two goalkeepers in the bench? I think it's wasteful, even if Braggio, Burns, Hemmings don't play either. But I think the reason for it in this game specifically is that all those guys played last night. In fact, actually, Oakley didn't play last night, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was on the bench. Asamoah was in goals. I suppose it's a thing that a lot of managers do in Europe. I have no idea why. I think it's probably just to give a young goalkeeper an opportunity on the bench so that they get used to how to prepare. It's probably more for the mental side of it from a goalkeeper than from an outfield player. A goalkeeper being sat on the bench specifically as a young player, you're going to have to do your time sitting on the bench at some stage, and being ready, then learning how to stay ready to come into a game might be one of the reasons for it. It could be from the mental side of things, but I don't know is the answer. It's something that Unai Emery does. It's something that a few other managers do, but it's not massively common, obviously. But maybe it could have just been a case of that he didn't have the numbers, given the amount of players that maybe would have got those games, the Hemmings of the world, that Borland, TJ Carroll, Who else has been there? Braggio, they've been all called up into that first team bench this year, but they all played yesterday. They all played yesterday, so that could be a reason why. Where else are we? I'm going to just scroll down here again and see. Johnny says there's 2 feeds. The other one just shows. I have no idea what's going on with that other feed, so apologies. I have no idea. If you're watching this in portrait or something like that, is what I seem to see, because I just got a message there saying in portrait no one can see me, in landscape they can. So I have no idea what the hell is going on. None whatsoever. I do apologize. If you turn it to landscape, you can see me. I've got no idea what's going on there. I'll fix it for the next podcast. I'll look into settings and see if something. I know there was something called Mars that was turning on in my streaming software, but we'll figure it out anyway. We'll figure it out. Where else are we? Yeah, so Wellington says here we need to score early to draw them out of the bus park. I do agree, and I think that's what Villa will try and do. I really do think that's what Villa will try and do. I think we're going to get try and get as high as we can early, try and get overloads going early on. Obviously, I think that's probably one of the reasons why Onana is in there as well. Might mind the house a small bit more with Bogard and with Pau Torres to keep a small bit of mobility there. Or sorry, with Bogard being in there, should I say? Sorry, not Onana. Bogard can step out into midfield, let Tielemans or Bogard go, or Onana go forward, and you still have Lindelof and Pau Torres minding the house with the mobility of Bogard. Then obviously being in that 6th position, then if he just steps out and kind of plays that kind of libero position, if you want to call it. So that could be something that we see here, and I do think an early goal is pivotal in this one too. Right, so guys, because I've got some weird ghost stuff going on here, can you guys just pop in your score predictions, and I'm going to tie a bow on this one. Get everybody ready to pop into Stato's stream, and then you guys can go and watch this game, and hope we will be back again in the post-match. Don't worry, I'll have whatever's going on fixed. You'll be able to see us in the post-match, and yeah, we'll be back with that after this, hopefully talking about an Aston Villa win. So for those of you who didn't catch it, I'm going to go with an Aston Villa 2-0 win tonight. I think that I'm hoping that Jadon Sancho gets off the schneid and gets a goal, and I'm going to go with a defensive goal. I'm going to go with Ian Matson scoring a goal tonight. I don't know why, just cause. And that's what I think is going to be. Aston Villa with a comfortable enough 2-0 win, and hopefully that is the case, and keeps our good defensive record, I suppose, going, and also keeps our trudge up the table within the Europa League going as well, because the higher we finish, and specifically finishing in the top 2, is quite a carrot, I think, for this team as well. So hopefully that is the case. And coming to some of your scores now, I think a lot of people are thinking the same. Black Country Villain is saying 3-0. LP the Villain saying 3-1. Flange is going 4-1. Camera Baby 2-1. 2-0 is Wellington. 2-0 says Peter. Adam says 6-0 Villa. 7-0 says Paul. 3-1 says Steve. David Dwyer says 2-0. David Dam says 5-1. Black Country is going for 2-0. I thought you said, we won 3-0. Sorry, you said previously, Black Country said. 3-0 with Sancho to score, says Brendan. 4-1 says Jake. Dougie's going 5-1. Dr. Echo is going for a draw. Villa Paddy, I think I've seen him around here before. He's going 4-0 Villa. Peter's going with 3-1. John Collins is going 3-1. John is going for 3-0. 1-0 says Padjo. 3-1 says Jared Dunleavy. Carrie's going for 3-2 Thriller. I don't know, would that be a thriller? I wouldn't be too thrilled. It's conceding 2 goals at home. But yeah, as long as we win, I don't really care, I suppose. Michael Huggins is going for 3-0. And Joy Montague says any win will do at the very end. And I think, that's really the I suppose the objective of today's game. So with all the gremlins that are going on here, and the fact that only some of you can see me and only some of you can hear my dulcet tones, I'm going to cut it off at that. We will throw you directly into Stato's stream. If Stato isn't started yet, just stay where you are. You will be in his stream directly after this, and then he's going to fire you back into our post-match show then directly afterwards as well, and you will get all-encompassing coverage of Aston Villa Football Club versus Young Boys of BERN. But thanks so much, everybody. We'll get the gremlins straightened out. Here's hoping that Aston Villa win, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.